Thanks for spending some time with us. It's been an incredibly energizing week with some good panels, which saw you in as well. I wanted to talk a little bit around the hype versus the reality when it comes to AI. Obviously, lots of people are talking about it. People talking about what they think it can do, what they don't think it can do, where they're projecting to. As you speak to a lot of CTOs in the industry, what are you hearing from them?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've been in tech for a while, and I like to think about things in terms of the Gartner hype cycle. And so there are these sort of moments where you have the peak of inflated expectations, the trough of disillusionment, and then the plateau of productivity. And I think we're sort of going through a variant of that. And the very most inflated expectation was this idea that in a year or so, we would have autonomous agents sort of doing everything, and everything would be automated. And what we're seeing as we kind of hit the reality of productivity is that augmenting people, helping people be superhuman in their scope, in their access to lots of different data sets, in their ability to reason through problems and make decisions. What we're seeing is raising the capability of what people can do armed with these technologies as opposed to just automating things outright.
That's really, really good point. And I guess it's the ability to not just surface that information and just to help with a process flow, but actually to help to make judgment calls as well. It's no longer just, this is an autonomous way that we can move through and actually put this here. How do you see the way that the data architecture comes into play here?
Data is completely fundamental. Without access to real data, essentially what you get in AI technology is, in the absence of information, you will have hallucinations that sound like information. And so the most important thing, the reason why Anthropic created MCP, is to be able to ground answers out of the gate in real data that comes from real up-to-the-minute systems. And so I like to describe it in terms of connecting very powerful AI with your systems of record. They contain things the company knows about itself, about its market, and systems of state, which are, as it says, they store up-to-the-minute information, like a data stream out of a subsurface well.
Yeah.
And so as you integrate these systems with the sort of modern AI interfaces, you go from kind of engaging with something that's very smart and may know some things, to engaging directly with your data with an incredible thought partner that can help you with data analysis, synthesizing proposals, working through complex problems.
And I suppose as we think about what's the prerequisites for that? Because if you don't have, can we just throw data at it? But how do we need to store that? What do we need to think about as a prerequisite to really get that value?
Definitely possible. And in the earliest days, everybody probably remembers this from using the first chatbots, you can always cut and paste things. Yeah. But the process of cutting and pasting is very painful, it's very slow, it's error prone, and so it's critical to integrate all of the existing systems out of the gate. That's the foundation for being able to be productive with these. And happily, as the models have gotten better at working with data, they've also gotten better at writing code, very complex code. And so if people think of this in terms of, well, there's a huge barrier to entry, I need a lot of engineering help to integrate these systems with AI, fortunately, it's kind of both the problem and the solution. It's possible to use the coding agents to create the data connectors that support the research agents to be able to do great synthesis with real information.
I guess almost thinking about it like as a partnership, we're partnering with AI, they're now part of the team as well. How do you see that really changing the workflow, the day-to-day workflow maybe for people working inside those industries?
Yeah, the convergence that we're beginning to see at Anthropic, this is happening across a lot of different industries, is the knowledge worker journey is fundamentally changing. And I think of this in terms of, a lot of the knowledge worker exercises are, you begin the process with research, you pull together lots of data sets, you perform an iterative analysis and you apply the skills that you've learned to do that, and then you synthesize some kind of work product. And a lot of what we're seeing is that the journey begins with a person describing at a very high level in natural language the problem they're trying to solve, the outcome that they want to achieve, and then guiding the agent through that research, analysis, synthesis loop, and doing it at such incredible scale and such throughput that you kind of become prolific in the ability to engage with problems and generate useful insights for stakeholders.
And are we starting to see this normalize now within people's day-to-day work, whereas before it would be something new people were trying to do and think about how do I go about it? We're definitely seeing how some of these tools are now they've been there forever. People are just involved in all these things, and we're seeing that more of that mind shift to that kind of adoption of this technology.
And I think, in a sense, a lot of us have been primed for this through, the evolution of science fiction entertainment, in that the computers of the future, for most of my life, have always been, you talk to it and you tell it what you want, and then it essentially creates an interface just for you. It engages with you as you want to use the computer, but the interface that you use is just for you, it's customized to your data, it's adapted to your scenario, it understands what you've done in the past, and so that sort of natural relationship, you're kind of vibing with the AI, and you enter this feedback loop with it that's just incredibly fast and just very productive and high throughput.
Yeah, and good to see that it wasn't a wasted youth, all those movies
That's
we
right.
were watching. Although there were a couple of movies that suggested we'd be in self-driving cars now, and actually we are. I guess as a parting kind of thought, as we think about companies and CTOs again, thinking where do I invest my time and my money in projects? There's so many things we should be doing, could be doing. What's your view on the best place for these for CTOs to invest in projects?
I think there's kind of a fundamental rethinking of how organizations engage with technology, which is that in the past, building software has been incredibly expensive, and it's the domain of kind of the engineers, the high priests, and this has now been completely democratized. Anybody can build a piece of software on their own using something like Claude Code, and it can be very complex and integrate with a lot of systems. And so the first step is to democratize it, to give everybody access to tools like Claude Code, to co-work, to encourage them to build MCP connectors. And that sort of bottoms-up motion of letting people be empowered by using these tools, that's the foundation for being able to kind of retool where you allocate engineering resources, how you think about software quality cycles, and just the whole nature of building and evolving technology. And so I think the first sort of the first way to break out of the old model is to empower people, to encourage them to build interconnections between systems, and then to encourage people to kind of lean into this model of asking hard questions, building complex products, and then just kind of, again, continuing to iterate.
Great. Thanks so much again for your time. It's been really interesting talking to you.
Thanks so much, my pleasure.
Speak soon.